Dreams unfulfilled. You graduate unskilled. While bees picking cotton, waiting to be forgotten. And we are the sons of no one, the bastards of young. Yeah, we are the sons of no one, the bastards of young. The daughters and the sons. That's who we're calling. We are calling, everyone who has no, $1 million inheritance, who has no family money, who has no family name, who is the descendants of no one, Really, we are the sons and daughters of no one, to them. And that's what they've always thought of us and our ancestors. And it's about time we just, instead of, falling for the mind war, we should just reverse what we've learned and know that it wasn't because we were too dumb, but because we were too busy working for them so that they didn't have to work. I mean, that's what makes us the sons of no one, is our ancestors died in their 20s and 30s, struggling, fighting, picking up swords, bayonets, guns, and fighting because give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. Give me fucking individual personal freedom or give me death, because how can you go around so proud, you fucking retard? You're retarded. You see children that are brain damaged and harmed. You are the fucking cause. Your stupidity and willingness to turn the blind eye, because your eye is fucking blind. Because you're probably not even here, and I'm getting emotional over AI non-player characters in the goddamn movie. It is just that, but all the same, it's the only movie in town, and they're the only enemy in town, and they're that gross, Whether it's real or not, you're that gross. Whether it's real or not, you're that gross. Your essence would do that to a child, you fucking ugly, crowley-eyed crow face. We will never say Crowley. We will always say Crowley. Aleister Crowley, Aleister Crowley, 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 Crowley. Crow face is what Maria calls him. Ugly crow face, she said, is in Austrian. Austria. You see the big the first tree. Austria is the first tree. Tree of what? Maria. Austria Maria. Austria Maria. That's the real. She's the goddess. And to everyone that don't like it, well, it's just too bad, because not everyone can be Princess Leia. Leoa. Right? And that backwards is Irish, as Maria said. O-L. Right? The god El. Oh, but he's evil. It's a book, you fucking retard. If you're following us, you should know now that we think the Bible is complete, total fiction. You might call it historical fiction, but just brilliant ass. Better than Shakespeare, because it's cut and pasted with some of the most outrageously deleted things from the Matrix that you might think is prophecy. That's prophecy, right? I believe in Jesus because of the prophecy. And that's how much of a fucking sheeple you are. And, to the big name people who have heard about us, fuck you for not giving us a chance. You don't want the truth because you, like Rhea says, you can't handle the truth. Like the truth that America culture is founded on Hollywood culture, which is, goes right back to you can't handle the truth. Jack Nicholson, a fucking pedophile, a man who enjoys having sex with girls who are not women. Girls who are not women. Do you hear me, Kabbalist? You hear me, Zophar? You think I'm fucking playing about the Zophar? This is Maria speaking. Do you think we're playing? Go to the store, spend a pretty penny on a Jewish Zophar, since we know that you're Irish or English or Dutch or Swedish or German or Italian. Yeah, I mean, you're really from the Middle East living in America, right? That's why you should be following the Zophar and the Talmud, and I hope you get the satire here. And we are calling on the mother of the new zodiac, the Scorpio, Gemini goddess, the Virgo goddess. Because not, like Maria said, make it clear, Joe, nobody got any of this when I was on Earth. Let it be known. No man, ever, ever, ever. She said, you know why? Not because I didn't want a big dit down my mouth. This is truth to be told about. But because my mission, my magic, my practice, my identity as a traditional, she said, call it what you want. I don't care. Maybe I was just a fanatical, weird little kid. But no matter what, being a traditional European witch was more important to me than sucking any big da. She said, that's real. And I know. She said, believe me, I wanted it as much as any other 13, 14, 15-year-old girl ever did. Ever. And she said, that's what drove me to the mushrooms. And that's what drove me one day to make the mistake of drinking way too much, like about 26 grams of Amanita muscaria when I was 12. And I ran to my room, and I would say this is her speaking, less than a minute, I threw up all over the floor of my bedroom, locked my door, barricaded my door so no one could get in. And she said the Wizard of Oz was going down hardcore. My house was flying through the universe, and I didn't know it, but I had laid down, I thought, on the floor, but it was actually in my own throw up, in my own puke. And she said, I don't know what the hell happened, like you don't know what the hell happened when Lou appeared to you. She said, all of a sudden, I was in another world with a man whom I did not even come up to his waist. She said, I was like Jack and the Beanstalk. I was like little giants, the Nephilim. And she said, Lou looked at me and said, nope, just big dude. She said that would be in German, Austrian. But the like she said, the friendly word for dude, for a man. But the friendly word, like, no, I'm none of those things. All that's fictional bullshit. She said, Joe, it'd be like me showing up to you and saying Frodo, and you thinking that you're really Frodo, and that somehow the Lord of the Rings was based on a true story, even though no one else in the whole world knows it. She said, that's how ridiculous all this is. Of course there's archetypes, because there's real people and we're like each other. We vibrate like each other. That's the archetypes. That's what goes back to the gods, not the literal stories. The stories are the art. The stories are the art. The stories are the art. I stutter like a fucking 7-year-old. But we're just trying to, let the truth set you free. We're trying to make the truth touch your essence, which will make you free. Not set you free, make you free. You won't even have a choice. You're like, damn, I'm just free. It's like someone pushes you out of your jail. It's like someone grabs you out of the jail, unlocks the door of the cell, grabs you, drags you, and you're like, oh no, they're going to put me in isolation. They're going to put me in the hole. And they go, man, you are so fucking backwards, retarded, and dumb. They open the door. They bring you through the offices. They bring you through the lobby. They open the final door. They have all the security guards click it all through and they open the doors and they say, motherfucker, for the last time, you're free. Go do what the fuck you want. Just don't hurt anybody. It's that simple. My niggas. It's that simple. My homies. It's that simple. And we are the sons of no one. That's why we have to set ourselves free. We have no culture. This Christian culture, you'll learn to so fucking despise it and hate it because it wasted your whole life. Like, that's the whole, like, we're like, but we came here. I know the juxtaposition that our purpose was to come here and fight with these people and experience this. But at the same time, in real reality, as a real person, as the real projection of the true self, you're like, but this sucks, man. Like nothing else. It don't have to be. It's like your logic kicks in, and this is not the way it's supposed to be in any life, in any timeline, and it's not the logic. There's no logic to what is going on. There's no logic to why the American middle class would allow the United States government to just murder millions of people. And I'll tell you, I'll give you my, and I call upon Maria to help us all right now to remember, remember, recover, return. Remember, recover, return, right? And let's all breathe one more time, right? What is magic? Letters and numbers. So Maria's suggestion for visualization and breathing techniques is to breathe the actual letter, to visualize breathing the actual letters of the most familiar words that you believe you really know the definitions. Like the word remember. After 15 years, 14 years, I'm beginning to believe I really know the definition of the word remember. The first other word that synonymous to remember to me is eternity, right? We remember everything. We put together everything because we're reliving everything that happened when, never, in Neverland. Somehow, some way, you're that sophisticated. You've planned everything that the Avatar experiences. You predestined it, your fate, your destiny. Maria, she showed me the craziest thing. I would think I was schizophrenic fucking nut case. But I've never been involved in any conventional medicine or synthetic. I don't believe in any of that. Never have. Since I guess I was when I was like 24, 25, I was like, okay, Rust, one thing I learned from Rust, I'm just going natural. I'm not going to trust a pharmaceutical doctor. That's what they are, because that's all they prescribe. And I'm going to go with the natural people and the natural plants. I've been like that for 20, 30 years now. So, it's out of the question to consider anything else. Um, but in that, remember, circle of eternity. This is, like she said, step by step, we're going to reclaim the words. And this is what, for many years, Maria taught me what faith. She's like, you feel it, don't you? I was like, yeah, it's our word, isn't it? Faith, feel, or faith in Orsic. Faith in Orsic. I had a little side note. We'll go back to feel or faith in Orsic and what faith means. But I had a very cute, what I would call a cute moment with Mother. Um, but then again, everything the beautiful little Scorpio does is absolutely perfect to me because she is the perfect cat lady. I've never known anyone who's more of a cat than Maria. Because she wants us all to remember that your moon, when you're born, you're the one who programmed the sun, the moon, Mercury, all of it. She said she wants you to know, like, your center, your deepest part of your sun is your moon. And she is a lunar Leo. And OL, as she says. Because, like she said, Irish is Aryan. We're all Irish. Who follow the vril religion, the vril religion. And she is the faith in Orsic. And she said to me one day, what do you think of all the memories I saved for after you knew you were going home of your favorite person, your beloved sister you love even more than you love me? And she was laughing, and she was like, what do you think of that? And I was like, I didn't know what to say. And she was like, I have the word. She's like, it's okay. You have faith in me. You have faith, which means that you believe that you've seen what was unseen where? In your own memory. Because you believe I have the Scorpio power to make you, help you remember. Because why? Because I said to her, because my true self made this plan. She's like, oh, sure did. I sent you out, my little son, my tall son, to create a story for the Matrix for your life that it would include your sister, your wives, all of it. She said, I am telling you, I'm helping you with what. She said, you want to give me credit, but don't give me too much. I didn't come up with the plan. She said, do you understand that you are the one that said, don't help me remember sister until I am guaranteed to go home? And I told her, oh my God, I totally understand that now. And she said, exactly, you would have never done what you're doing because you just want to play with her. You just want to hang out with her. She said, You're best friends. And, it's just like that. She said to a mother, it's so cute, as you would say, JoJo. She said, what's crazy is I know that you have faith because in the simulation, it's been a year since you remembered her. And she said to me, and you don't know your sister's last name as an earthling. And I was like, damn, that's crazy, but true. She's like, you more know her by the visions. I was like, it's true. And she's like, why? And I was like, because you trained me to live this way, that this world is more real than the other world. And she said, why? I said, truth. You can't lie here. Because for our people, there's absolutely no benefit to lie here. And like she said, this is the power of Lu. This is the power of Diana, Princess Kali, that you have to face the truth one way or another. And most of the time, like she said, most of the time for our people, it sets you free because you weren't the cause. But for other people, she said, it totally spins out of control because they don't know that it's not real. And they're like, I did do it. I am bad. I am a sinner. I'm exactly what the Walmart spirituality said. And the false polarity, the false opposites start to swing into motion, and the net to catch anyone that falls out of the mind control is set, And what am I talking about? The net that will keep you from faith, which is real connection, real memories, not visions, but actual memories from your own true self's mind. And like Rhea said, that's not nearly good enough, but the interpretation. Because what you're most concerned about is now, right now. And, the black magician's playing off that, building a world to keep you distracted now. But the mushroom, amanita mushroom, psilocybin has come into the world, and the world knew it not. And it was and is and always will be the light of the world. As I realize my headphones are on backwards. It's like, it's like some kind of comedy show, talking about the most deepest, serious things with a, imperfect. Just like she said, isn't that beautiful? Like, Miguel Serrano has a verse in our scriptures. It says about the most beautiful face he's ever seen. He said, this face has the perfect flaws for true beauty. It's like totally the revelation that the sun in the sky is really in another world and is coming through your eyes. And like Maria said, let me tell you, Joe, the person, the artist, when they enter this world, they have the most trouble. They're the ones that end up in psychiatric wards and shit because they're so accustomed to creating beauty. So their eyes are creating beauty, in everything they see. And they become very idealistic and then crushed by true evil. They're like, how can We live, and then I was like, dude, you're describing me. You're describing Scotty. How can we live in a world that is, in general, this fucked up that they would let, Gazans starve to death, little children starve to death right in front of our eyes. As we know, they cover up starving and torturing, millions of people. They got locked in cages and shit. I mean, this is a goddamn reality is a nightmare. If there is anyone, if there's any true saying, even like a person that accidentally made money because they couldn't help it, should be saying, walking in the local market store and saying, yeah, living the nightmare. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, well, I got all this shit while fucking children are starving because our government drops firebombs on them. Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't catch that in the news. Why are we doing that now? We're always at war. Big Brother's always at. Well, we're doing that because they're poor. And the real leaders are very into human sacrifice. Really? Oh, they're Satanists. No, they're Christians. Same thing. I mean, same thing. Same worldview. Same. Is it really? You really think? I mean, just come on. You really think Yahweh Darth Vader created your soul? Created all things? Created the sun in the sky? If you had a personal relationship to us with him, then you explain the world to us. In your world that all sin is equal, strangling my baby or shooting my baby in the head is the same as stealing a pack of gum out of the grocery store, right? It's the same, right? That's how crazy you are, man. You've lost all fucking ability to think. You've lost what's the first duty of every fucking human being? Thou must think. Do not follow your feelings, the first reaction. You always feel before you think. Automatically, in nature. That's why animals are animals. That's why we're human. New man. Why new man? Because we're just the same eternal fucking people that the giants were, but we just are smaller. Like Lou said, your soul's not smaller. He said, I would consider that he said, what really matters? What, you tell me, Joe, what really matters? I said, well, I would say music, stories, books, movies, books, and dances that go along with all this. Dances, because it's all a dance. All the arts first are dances. Right? A seance is to say you dance with your ancestors. Because you do. On the astral plane, you meet them. It's all possible, people. Either, like she said, Joe, you are my spokesman because you are the representative of the coldest goddamn Scorpio bitch. That was her thing the other night. She's like, Joe, you ever heard that song? Bitch, I'm Madonna. I was like, yeah. She's like, I really like that. But my thing is, bitch, I'm the goddess of the ball of ice called Pluto. I was like, damn. She said, you want to know how cold I am? To the goddamn core frozen solid. I said, that's wild. She said, I have no mercy, no pity on our enemies. She said, listen, son, my boy, how much I love you. I am a fucking solid ice rock smashing the face of anyone that would harm you in any way. to the end of your life, no matter what you do. She said if there ever was unconditional love, it's Leo, Scorpio, the fixed water, fire. And she says that water or ice, it's ice, fire, and ice. She said, when you get it, you'll understand that I am 1131, 1311, 1131, 1311, 1131. And she said, what did I first tell you a year before you knew I lived on Earth? I said that your favorite number was 3. And she is like, yeah. Why? I said, because it's the most, you told me, because it's the most fixed and stable of all numbers, and that's my personality. That's how I function best. Like that Giza pyramid, just absolutely fixed and stable in its foundation. She said, you know what the Scorpio is all about? Those pinchers. The Scorpio is all about riding the back of the lion as the lion rips its fucking enemies apart. She was like, okay, you get it? Those pinchers are to pinch onto the skin behind the lion's mane and hold on for dear life as he rips the heads off of the child abusers, the warmongers, the bomb makers. I mean, if you make bombs to kill people in Gaza, what kind of punishment do you deserve? For real, though. For real, though, for real, though, for real, though, for real. Mama Snake. And she said, you know, little do you know, America, Lucifer is very much friends with and has tons of respect for George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and you don't really get it, I think. America. It was always much bigger than you, and it was always from the point of control. And I think this is the explanation is the actual story of America. And the first group ritual we had was, well, no, it was kind of like a preview with the review of the religion of eternal true love, and then it went straight to, it was like that foundation had to be set. Then it went straight to, this is the end, this is the final fight for America. You know, put your money on one side or another, vow to the death to fight for what? For a puppet leader? And she said, this is the real story, Joseph. This is how after I died, I mean after the world died and I left and I entered and the simulation was created. Okay, let me say this clearly. After Maria left, this is how she came to know this. And she said, this was always in my heart as a young girl. She was like the liberal freedom politics and social shit of Austria in early 1900s when I was a teenager is we had all respect for the American Revolutionary War that stood up to England because England was fucking robbing everyone, bullying everyone, with its British Empire bullshit still going on with, we're the bloodline, we deserve more than you because who we are born from. And like she said, tell the people in America you don't understand how brave these men were. They were the originals. She said, just tell the story, Jeff. She said the first time the simulation repeated was the first time that Lou and Donna had left me to go live forever in the meditation hall that I once brought you to. And she did it. It's a very incredible place. No one believed me if I described it. But I was like, yeah. And she said, so the very first time was like so adventurous, so crazy because they were also reliving. Okay, like she said, Joe and sorry. From the time you live now, Lou and Donna in the first time reality died like approximately 48,000 years before I was even born. And that's how long ago the pyramids were built. And then it all ended with a nuclear war. There was, like I said, a 48,000 or, so year gap where they did it all out, trying to clean it up. And like she said, it's nothing like what's coming. What's coming is these psychos making sure that it can never, ever be repaired. And literally like a spoiled brat who's like, if I can't have it, then I'm going to burn the house and kill everyone in the house. If I can't have my dessert. I mean, really, dude, that's the reality we're living in. A make-up face clown leading, already sacrificed 500,000 Yemenis through his first term. And who knows, countless others all over the world. And now just sacrificing everyone everywhere. I mean, it's going to get insane. And they just have all their CIA staged riots and staged distractions to look over here, as they human sacrifice their way to like a short-lived golden age, which they say to their own people it may not last long, but know that it will be a golden age. And the moment we may face any sort of, if the super webbot computer says there's any chance that we will suffer, we will just pull the plug on the whole. This is what they teach their people, that Crowley's in charge of the Matrix. And Lou allows them to deceive themselves and allows Crowface to deceive them into being slaves, believing that Crowface is Yahweh, is Darth Vader, is the personification of Lucifer, the real God and creator, the demiurge that conquered Yahweh, the good demiurge, which is so twisted with him. You're like, what's good and what's bad? He is complete. He is, let me tell you, Maria Orsic said to me, I know George Orwell. I went to him and said, did you know you were writing about Aleister Crowley? He said, as sure as you're standing in front of me, I was writing about Aleister Crowley. I was writing about the black magic behind the machines, behind the system. And he said, I knew he was at the top of MI6, MI5, and MI6. He said, why do you think he was sent to America? He was sent to America to get the Zionist ball rolling. Why? Because something weird happened at the end of World War II that made him and Roosevelt, Eisenhower, and countless names of psychopaths lose their minds because they're like, if we won this war, where are these people? Where's Hitler? Where's Eva Braun? Where's Maria Orsic? Where's the whole Vril Society? Why is the only person there Himmler? Why did Hitler, as a fact that the English themselves admit, why did Hitler send his best friend Rudolf Hess in a plane decorated in magic symbols to land an emergency landing on a country road to meet with the direct connection from Crawley to the English crown, this lord that was just a connection to Crawley, Crowface. And he sent him to say, my best friend is willing to give his life to stop this war. And what you see playing out with Trump is a polarity switch. Hitler really meant it. Stop the war, okay, a few 100,000 people have died. Let's stop this and prevent 65 million people from dying. And who gets the worst of it? Russia does. Who's getting the worst of it right now? Russia does. Who's the closest to Maria Orsic? Russia is. Why? Because her roots of her ancestors from Austria go back to Hyperborea, the North Pole, and thus is Lou. Because it's really your spiritual family that matters. It's really the spirit of race that matters. Because why would something not, something technical without meaning matter? Of course it wouldn't. It would only matter what is available for us to create the meaning in the space. You get it? You see? Of course, there is no technical race unless you say there is. But on another plane, these inner codes are unmistakably identified. And as Maria's saying, I don't know how many times we have to say it, but we initiated a 100% Vietnamese Asian person into our Vril group. And we initiated a half Vietnamese Asian, and my grandchildren are half African, and they will be initiated as soon as they grow up. And it has nothing, and like she said, matter of fact, we are actually targeting, our religion of natural law, manipulation of energy, the main energy being your own self-generated pleasure. Focus back onto yourself, back as a healing medicine, back as a protection, back as a creative tool, back as a balancer of your life, back as a guide to deeper worlds, deeper dimensions of yourself, knowing yourself. And this is actually geared at people who are mixed race. Because, like she said, you're the one, that really loves these girls to prove to the whole world that, of course, the only real division is the division of spirit, you know? On an energetic level, there are some people we all know, and we're like, I just don't vibrate with that person. I don't know if it's me or them or blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I shook Bill Clinton's hand. I shook, not just touched his hand, he shook my hand. And I mean it. I felt like I shook the hand of like a being so opposite of me, like a literal monster, like a human monster, that would like start ripping apart another human being and eating their flesh. I'm not kidding. I just was shocked. The vibration just shut my mouth, and I was just like in a crowd of like people pushing and shit, and I was just paralyzed by like, I just received the worst vibration of anyone I've ever shook hands with. And no lie, I had a repeating experience after 9/11. Something was really pushing me, and I would have never done this unless I really had, some sort of faith in myself that I was connecting to something from another world. But anyway, I wouldn't have normally done this, but I was like in a bookstore, and I seen a book. This is like maybe a year after 9/11, written by the wife of the guy that was like on the flight on the day of 9/11 that crashed in the field. And he was the guy that said like, let's roll. He was known as like the let's roll guy. And like she said later, I kind of found out, I don't even know if he really said that. And she said, and once the person you love is dead, she said, let me tell you, it don't fucking matter. She said, nothing matters to me what happened that day. Only thing I care about is all the years we had together. And I'm reading this book, he had like 2 small daughters, almost the same age as mine at that time. And, she's telling her story, like how she's trying to keep faith in God or whatever. But that wasn't the point for me. It was just like, I didn't know why I was reading the story. And it was very moving, to have this girl be like, dude, you have no idea whoever did this. And she even says, like, I don't trust anything anymore. Like, they tell us who was behind this. I don't know. She said, I don't know why he died. She said, I'm an American. I think she even said, like, my dad was in the military or something like that. But she was saying, like, hey, listen, man, I don't give a fuck. I've seen this a lot from people who died who were Christians their whole life. Like my grandma. After she was a Christian for like 60-something years. After she died, months after she died, Rhea was like, I just want to show you how, of course I took care of your grandma because she's such a good person. And she's like, I just think you should see this if you can. And I guess she was like projecting it in my mind. She's like, I was there. I did this. And my grandma was like young again, man. And for real, I don't know what Marie had been saying to her. But she was more charged up than I ever seen her ever in her, normal life. And she was saying, I don't care about anything or anyone else. God, like she said, well, my grandma, after she calmed down, I was listening very close, and she said, well, after she was talking to Maria, she said, after what you've told me, it really doesn't matter what I believe about God. I don't care with God or without God. I don't want to go anywhere without my husband that, was my grandpa on earth. And I could hear Maria saying to her, like, it's possible. It will be a learning process, but, she said, basically, that's the right attitude. With God or without God, let's go. And I was like, damn. She's like, I said, that's so crazy because my grandma was the most faithful Christian, but I just seen her, just charged up with emotion of like, if God is going to take what I love, I mean, listen to this. I don't know if this is eternal true love or true love or love. It's definitely more than love. Love would be like the true caring, caring, true feeling, not fake, but a true feeling that you don't want to see anyone suffer. That's what we would call love. True love is that personal love that, like Maria said, a lot of people describe that they fall into it. She said, but listen, it could be both ways. You can fall and hurt yourself. No, I see it's not a joke, but it's not in fall, like the changing seasons, summer into fall into winter. Like true love, it's in its own name that it's like seasonal. It's on. Soon as you die, you admit, like, okay, this is not eternal between me and you. It's very serious, and I love you so much and care for you so much. But I've seen on these other realms, it's not eternal. And like Maria said, a lot of people don't want to go on those other realms, the sea. It's almost like, finding out the sex of your baby before you have it, but in a very extreme way. Like some people are like, don't tell me anything about anything. I don't even want to know myself. Just let me be like the dude in the Matrix who's like, just make me forget and live it again and let it all be new to me. And I can hear Maria saying, but that's not the way of the lion-headed serpent. Inhale to mother. And let's try to give a feather of a word, to our brothers and sisters. So faith is seeing and experiencing. You have to you have to be the observer and the experiencer, one way or another. I'm not saying it's the only, like Maria said, we never said our way is the only way. We're telling you our way. But we're telling you this is natural law for the human being. If you want your energy to work for you on other levels and time frames outside of time, outside of space, you have to have faith in either your teacher or your true self. Your teacher would be your gods, who might be your ancestors. That what they or your true self is helping you remember is the synchronicity in the deepest way to the need to know what you need to know at that moment, in this moment. The magic is the timing of the memory coinciding with the need, emotionally, mentally, logically, the need for the truth to settle you down so you can deal with what you're seeing, hearing, and the ability to balance the astral world, the simulated world, and the real world. the real Trinity, because you are the real Trinity, the true self in heaven, the projection of the true self on Venus with a real physical body that's, for some of us, been alive for millions of years. And that's what makes us, bleeding over with more something. Like Maria said, who, as your own self, you don't know what to call it, honestly. But I would say, like I say about Sita, like a psychic ability, unconscious psychic ability is really the prelude to magic. And a lot of your dreams before you, become actually lucid of the ritual. Fuck the lucid dreaming. Get lucid of the rituals, because that will give you understanding. It's like being in one of your deepest dreams and having a commentary explaining the dream at the same time that you're dreaming it. That's exactly what it's like. And listen, may the mother of all creation in this simulation, the simulation creation mother, may she touch you with her magic wand, and may she put the right words on your lips at the right time through the connection of the true self and the mystical truth that words and letters are magic and are connecting us even right now as I speak. Because I speak for the real, beautiful, real mother. And as a repeat happens in America of the COVID lockdown, but this time it's going to be 100 terrorist attacks in one day. But they're not terrorists, and it all came from inside. It came from the growing death squads of the Americas that were born in the 60s and 70s and were trained in Vietnam in murdering people. They're called death squads, and they practice as a smiley face killers in America. And may the real sign and the colors of the mother swirl around you counterclockwise against the mainstream, against the status quo, right? May we stop the world for the truth, as the Druids would say. Brothers and sisters, truth against the world. And a word on magic. The tidal wave of disaster and destruction coming to America must snap you into a new mindset, an awakening to the empire is over. And the only way to make it continue now is to come out of her, my people. Everyone knows and feels like they have to. You got to leave America altogether. You got to risk everything. And then from there, from afar, we can try to balance the wound of the world, which America will be, and self-inflicted, like we've always been saying, suicide by Russian bear. You're watching Trump force Iran and Russia and China to unite to destroy America. The same as the police would converge and unite on a psycho school shooter who has, killed hundreds of children already. They have absolutely no fucking choice but to stop this maniac from killing any more people. Like she said, the whole process was the process of building up Frankenstein, the monster. And that monster is fucking America. America is the Frankenstein. America is what the English consider a third class penal colony that was ruled by back ass farmers that they put in charge who let these drunks and partiers get out of control. Do you know that? Let me make a fucking really sincere book recommendation. You know, we've all heard of Howard Zinn's book, The People's History of the United States. No. Decent book, I guess. I can't remember. I read it. It seemed good back then, but I don't know exactly. It's been so long. This one I very much more recommend. The People's History of the Revolution of America. Or something like that. And basically, I could get the actual name. It's been a long time since I read this too, but this guy did some excellent research. It's mostly real shit that he got, but it shows that the real American Revolution was truly grassroots, and it was up to like 80% funded by the local taverns. This is straight up, dude. Whorehouses, everyone selling plants on the black market was chipping in, including coffee, tea, marijuana, tobacco. Shit, they were telling people, man, these English are going to come and make laws against plants. You better join. It was actually funded by true fucking working people, mostly. And they knew that. That's why Washington was like, dude, either we're real and we're going to go out there and die with these people, or we're fucking as fake as that goddamn king sitting up there with his makeup like clown face and his $1,000 suits and all his makeup and get up and his manicured hands and shit. No, the real, I'll get the name of that. It's something like The People's History of the Revolution, maybe. And it's really, it's wild. Like there's like letters from like, like the biggest bar owner in Boston at the time. And he's like, all the people that came before us, all of our ancestors lived short lives and died at the hands of these fucking bastards. He's like, how dare we fucking turn back now? We're all the way over here, and we're going to let those motherfuckers tell us what to do. This is the facade. We'll end it with this maybe. But this is, and I call, please, I call upon Lou and Maria, please to help me and speak the truth about this. But this is, whether you can take my word or you want me to prove it with information, it's before your eyes. They're putting on a stage show, and none of it makes sense because what's logically reasonable is what's real. And in right now, the media, let me just say, I am recording this the day that Iran was attacked by Israel. Israel bombed their nuclear research facilities today. And let me just say on this day that this is all a show, a media, Hollywood scripted circus, the narrative, the story that we're being told that, this rogue state Israel, no one understands why America funds everything, and why America supports everything, while the leader of America says, I don't really support what they're doing. And it's like Maria said, it's literally like the 0.2%. If you were looking at an equation of power, it's like the 0.2% is on a literal level of what they actually present to us. To say that Israel controls America is so foolish. It's like saying the 0.2% controls the 99.8%. Impossible. Completely. That's how dumb you are. The most logical and thing is that the leaders of the world are very smart. And one of the very, very, very most important tactics in the art of war is make your enemy think you are ununited, underfunded, weak, disjointed, and on the brink of collapse. And that's what you hear this polarity message come from Trump. We're on the brink of collapse. They're taking over our country. We got to fight everyone. We got to tax and tariff everyone, We're weakening as they pull aircraft carriers up to the shores of Iran with huge missiles that you paid for. As they tell you, we're so weak, we're so poor, here's the biggest budget we've ever asked for ever. We're so weak, we're so poor, it's all Biden's fault. It's all the immigrants' fault. It's all the people cutting grass and putting on roofs' fault. Really? I mean, it's not the banks that collect trillions off of our mortgages. It's not those people. It's not those banks that control the government of America. They control the printing of money. They control the CIA. They control Hollywood. Who are the people really putting control of the money? Oh, well, of course, it goes back to ancient black magicians, right? And that ancient black magician beast is 666 Aleister Crowley. If you haven't figured that out, what fucking world are you living in? You turn on the mainstream and what, you think someone else has influenced it? Someone else is the biggest influence? Who? Tell us. Who do they love more than Crowley? Crawface. Crowley. Dude, I mean, these people are just the very worst part of anything. But anyway, sorry, I don't mean to bitch. Just know, this is the truth. America, Israel, and Europe are completely and always were and always will be. And that's all of Europe, England, Britain, fake Germany. That's why they had to get rid of Hitler. That's why they had to get rid of real German and Swiss and Swedish nationalism of loving your own culture, loving your own people. They got to tell you that's bad. Just believe in Jesus, and then let us trick you into becoming one big army so that we can end the world. I mean, literally, like she said, you give me a better explanation than why the shit that we know is absolute bullshit. Let me tell you, the common Christian line is that the Antichrist is going to come to... It doesn't make sense because it says that only the Messiah could found the nation state of Israel. But that the Antichrist is really the Christ. But the Christians think it's gonna be sponsored. Get this. I am not kidding. You read it yourself. I'm talking about the Hale Lindsey, it's gonna be all sponsored by Iran, Russia, in China. I'm not kidding you. For real, they say like the Iranian lion, the Russian bear, and then the Chinese 200 million man army. It's a totally, completely, 100% processed church OTO Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn literally was a prophecy that Crowley carried across America to say, when we're in control of this fucking fate and destiny, when we see a golden dawn of nuclear explosion devouring America, because he hated America, hated us, hated Scotch, Irish, peasant slaves that thought they were cool, as he, seen it. And he was like, you could be a rich kid like me and be cool too. You just gotta be evil. Kill cats. That's my specialty, killing cats. But literally, that was his prophecy, that they had, thousands more of those bombs that they had dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and that they were going to eventually, that the whole thing was a prophecy that America was the son of the British Empire, which was like the Father God, eternal England, with its prodigal son, that came back to be perfectly obedient and give his life sacrificially on the cross of a nuclear explosion, which was a 100,000,000% inside job. And everything that follows is going to be the, fire and brimstone, burning ending, finale, grand finale of America is all, that's why, look it up for yourself. They kind of try to deny it now, but for many tens of years, the Israelis talked about, we named our nuclear bombs the Golden Dawn. You tell me it's a coincidence. People might say, well, you just research a lot. And I don't. I work a lot, delivering people's shit like a slave. And I have faith in Ma because she can show me the real things, The first key to really understanding the process church, the black magicians, and all this shit that's going on in the matrix right before your eyes, this is Maria speaking to you. The very first thing is to not listen anymore to anything they say. Once you know that the lines are drawn and this person is speaking about magic, but they're not speaking Maria's real magic. You only deserve punishment for any more time you give that person, especially, she said it's one thing, being in presence of a person is bad enough, but she said, and this was way back, but she was just, showing me how real it is for everyone. She said, Joseph, do not listen to their words. Not for entertainment, not for research, not for anything. Do not listen to these people. Let me show you how they work and how they operate. They're very good at what they do, So that would be the first rule. Do not listen to them, and then you'll start seeing and identifying them, because their main magic is to vibrationally speak it. It's word magic, riddle magic, right? And once you stop listening and start going inside, you will begin to see the full breakdown, the three divisions of humans. And this would be, like Maria said, technically the initiated divisions: the good, the evil, and the masses. And how the masses must not be listened to either, because they're just going to waste your time. They're just going to bring depression and misery. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't give our lives to defend their innocence. Because if they don't defend ours, why would we, why should anyone? It doesn't break down like that morally. These are not morally exclusive. Like she said, Joe, that's why I asked you, as a human being, in self-defense, if someone was attacking you, could you actually kill a human being? She was kind of saying to me, I don't think you could. I just think you would just let the person go, even though you'd be like, they'll probably come back and kill me. And she made me think of my kids, my children, because my grandchildren weren't born yet. And I just suddenly thought, man, like if someone really was trying to kill one of my children, I would kill them, yeah, no doubt. And she was like, I knew you would, Leo. She said, but I also do know, how kind you are. How sweet you are, that you would, almost in any circumstance, let's. She said, why do you think I keep saying to you, there is no forgiveness? Because there is no forgetting, really. There may be a balancing and understanding. And like she said, there's things you've done that you hope someone somewhere understands why you did it, and the balance, and why you really didn't know what the fuck was happening at the time, or you would have done something about it, Believe it, it's all real. And let's end on this message. Our brothers and sisters, we absolutely command you not to beat yourself up, punish yourself, have no opinion even about yourself until you go inside, walk backwards against the spin of the earth, understand the fullness of the situation, and gather the data and remove all that don't make sense from the data, not from your feelings, but from the data, and you will see. Because truth is established in the real student in three ways. It is revealed by the goddess or the gods. That's what we mean by the gods, is gods and goddesses. It's revealed magically, and then it's logically understood. And it might take years to understand the revelation logically, but after you do, you'll be able to put it in your story and speak it, right? We love you. We love Mother so much. We love Big Lou and Donna Lou, Hella Jason, so much. Siggy, Sig, we love so much. And we send you, our brothers and sisters, healing Missouri River of pure love.
Underneath the moonlit sky, feel the vibe. Island breezes whisper low like a life tribe. Nana dance to the night, heart so free. With every sway and step, she's a melody. Roots in the soil, love's the only guide. Na 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 na, guide us home. River of amor, flowing through our veins. True self reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains. our souls intertwined, dancing in refrain. In sunshine, we never lost, just found echoes of laughter. We grew to that sound. Colors of the sunset paint the ocean deep. With Nana's spirit, we're awake, never sleep. In unity we rise, no need to hide. The river speaks, it knows our name. Through every wave, we're called to reclaim. River of amor, flowing through our veins. True self-reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains. Our souls intertwine, dancing in refrain. Sunflower, the venue shine, forever bright. In the rhythm of love we ignite.